ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of. I think you should do it this time.
No, it's on you.
I think the people have been waiting for you to do it.
No, because you're gonna do your thing.
I need to know. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very special guest. She even came all the way in from San Diego to hang out with myself and Art.
Right near the beach.
Right near the beach.
Boy!
Another great friend. You know, we invite friends on the show to talk about things.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever they have been wanting to know for the longest. Please welcome to the show. The one and only, Miss Alisha.
Alisha.
What it do?
What's up,
Hello.
girl?
I was saying there go warm, cool, what?
It's beautiful right now. It's warm. And everything is open. Just to keep it real.
Well,
You
really?
know? It
So
is.
y'all don't really care about COVID?
Just
a little bit.
a little bit we care.
well, in Bakersfield, we care a lot
Yeah.
because there ain't nothing open here.
Ain't
So
nothing open.
ain't no Kern County locked down.
You had a question on tonight.
You know, I did, and I think it's kind of fitting. You know, obviously we just got through with Thanksgiving, and now we're getting closer to Christmas, New Year's, and you know, I think naturally that's when most people get kind of in their feelings.
Yes.
You know, and so they want to express them. And yeah, you know, it's that time you're around family. No one wants to be that single person, you know, going to all the family things. So,
So when you
the question that not just so much that was asked to me, but I've kind of heard other people ask is the double standard and why is there one? And that double standard being if a guy shares his feelings, you know, or let's say gets in his feelings and let's say, you know, he's emotional, cries, whatever, you know, that guy is viewed as like kind of weak, like, you know, hey, whatever you're feeling, like get over it, suck it up, whatever.
Yes.
But if a lady does that, that's almost expected or it's accepted. You know, she's going to be sad for a couple of weeks and, you know, be with her friends and, you know, that's just kind of how she is. That guy doesn't get that. You know, he gets maybe a couple of days and he needs to, you know, move on and man up.
Friends aren't shit, okay? Just gonna throw that out there.
So as our guest, Alisha, I'll let you
If
go
you
first.
guys will,
Okay. I'm
So-
gonna need a drink.
my personal belief, being, you know, I'm a part of the psychology world. I am Christian. And what I would say is that it has to do and deal with a lot of the cultural influences and the upbringings and the societal influences. I think that what is displayed as a norm to some people but would hurt another people is not something that is addressed or spoken about. So when it comes to a man and him, you know, maybe feeling a certain way or trying to express his emotions and having to be in a relationship, for example, with someone who has been shaped by this thing that you're talking about to where it's like, you need to suck it up, or you need to be a man, or you're not allowed to feel those feelings, then that puts that person at a place of complexity to where it's like, okay, so how do I feel? I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to suck it up, but at the same time, I want to feel what I need to feel, and I need to get it out. So how do I deal with that? So I think that those are things that are shaped by our environment first, at home.
And it can be considered like a mental, it can, low-key, like a mental health thing. Like, because dudes, that's why we don't express ourselves, because of those instances that you're talking about. It's looked upon. Like, you whack, bro. Like, get it together. But we have, especially black men, we have to express ourselves. Or if we sit on that, we're going to go crazy on top of all the other trauma that's going on in our lives. And so I think a lot of dudes shy away from it. I know me personally, I'm just going to speak on it. Every time that I have showcased or shared my feelings, they've got shitted on. And so you kind of retract that. You be like, yo, why would I open my feelings if they just going to keep getting shitted on? Or nobody respects it, or they're not valued. And I think coming from a lot of my friends and watching, a lot of my friends or hearing a lot of my friends, it's the same instance of why they don't share their feelings, most definitely with females, is because I think sometimes it's too late. Or it's just a hard thing to do, because what you say, it's like you just get stumped on when you do so.
Yeah.
And it's really not fair, because we need especially men need an outlet. Like we need somebody to talk to. We need somebody to cry on. We need somebody
Yeah.
to bring us in. So it's a tough pill. It's a tough thing to do.
It's like it needs to be reshaped because our grandma and our parents told us, you're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to say that you feel heavy because of what so and so did to you, or because of what your wife is putting you through, or because of the things that you're having to deal with. It's because of what they told you. They're the ones who set the standard as to how you are to respond. And that is where I think we in this generation are now starting to realize, like,
It's okay.
I think that I actually have a little bit more say so as to how I can and should feel about these things. And I think that the ones who are waking up to this revelation are the ones to where it's like, okay, I can be safe with you. I can share this with you. And I cannot be ridiculed should I be vulnerable with you,
All right.
No, I mean, I think that both of you have made, great points. I stopped short of using the word valid because, I mean, who am I to say that they are or not? But what I kind of heard and what word kind of continued to come to the front of my mind is, that feeling that failure is okay. To express your feelings and to use your words in terms of them getting shitted on. Like, I feel like people that's their biggest fear, whereas that hurts emotionally, it hurts your heart and messes with your mind because you start to thinking why that person felt that way. But like that's you failed in that particular friendship, relationship, whatever. But I would say, like, you don't want to be afraid to fail. Go ahead and be vulnerable. Go ahead and fail at making that particular connection. I think that's what our grandparents and parents perhaps were saying, that we did not have time to do that. We didn't have time to fail.
Yes.
So I wasn't going to share my feelings. I don't have time to fail in that. I got to keep it moving.
Yes.
Even kids these days, they're so afraid to fail in school, so afraid to fail at their job that they stress themselves out. If they get a B, to them that's failing. And so they can't fail at anything. So it's easier to not share my feelings, to not say this, because that puts me out there to potentially not have that connection with somebody. The safe space that you speak of, and I think we've probably all said before, if nothing else, a safe space is intended to allow you to be yourself, to fail, to be vulnerable, to say what you really feel. And so it's not to say, just go around thinking that everyone is in your safe space. I think we all know that not to be true.
Yes.
But like, if you find yourself with someone that you can be your authentic self to, you also have to be okay to fail in front of that person. Yes. They may not understand where you're coming from. They may not feel the same way. But I'm still going to let you know how I feel. Yeah. And if I fail at that, if this connection doesn't happen, well, then we failed. But I can still move on. But I would rather move on knowing I failed here than move on and wonder if that would have either failed or succeeded. I would rather want to know than sit it out,
To live in a place of fear.
Yeah, I mean, because I think that's really what it is. Like, well, how come you never been in love? Because I was afraid it wouldn't work.
I was scared. I was fearful.
But then how do you know it could have worked?
Right.
You
don't.
Well, how come you didn't tell so-and-so how you feel? I was afraid that they wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
But that's, and I've said it to my friends before, that's the other person's understanding, not yours. Like, so I always tell people, like, don't put that on yourself on trying to stop both of you from failing. Share your truth. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you shared yours. Now you can move on with a clear conscience of knowing I shared what I needed to.
Yes, and gave everything.
And it didn't work, whatever. But not, okay, well, I knew this person for like a year. I never really told them who I was. And then we just kind of faded.
But before we get out of here, speaking of failing, I think there are guys that share their feelings and continue to fail. So it becomes more of, when will I win? And so you kind of almost give up on it and you kind of tuck it away. It makes it harder and harder each time to share those feelings with that particular person or your family members or whatever the case is, because now it becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I keep losing. When I know that I'm good, or I know that I'm doing this the right way, and whoever this person is, family, friend, wife, husband, is not reciprocating or regurgitating these same feelings, like, what are you missing? And so, how many times do I have to fail to see a win?
You know, and I think that's a great question. I think that's a great perspective on it. And the connection I would make, some would say that's a difficult connection, but like, you know, I think there's a quote by Michael Jordan, you know, stating how many shots he missed, you know, versus how many he's made. I understand these are feelings, but like, I don't think there is a number. I mean, for some, they may fail one time. Next person they meet is their soulmate. Some people may have a million relationships and fail every last one of them, and then, you know, next thing you know, they find the right person. I think maybe it's the glass half full or whatever, but it's like, I think every relationship that you have, again, romantic relationship, friendship, whatever, there's a lot of wins in there just by you being around each other. That ultimate fail may be eventually y'all break up or whatever it might be, but I mean, in relationships I've been in, I've never walked away completely thinking I failed in that. It didn't work out for the long term, but there were some good things in there. Mm-hmm. Experiences we had, conversations we had, and then, you know, obviously maybe something changed, and so now we're not, you know, still talking. But so I don't really think there's a number to give someone of saying like, hey, just keep trying, it's eventually gonna work. Versus, hey, each time that failure happens, learn from that. What was it that happened that broke the tie between you two? Because then when you can take that into your next relationships, I think where it's difficult is when someone is, and we all know some, I'm sure we know someone like this, that's in a different relationship every 3 months.
Yeah.
How can you learn from one relationship to the next when you haven't even learned? You know, so you see them making the same mistakes over and over again.
Right.
Whereas we probably all said to someone, maybe you need to be single for a little bit, just so you can digest everything you've been through in a relationship.
Exactly.
You know, this is what your red flags are. This is what you're, you know, doing that are turning your partners off. How can you do that if you're constantly jumping into a relationship?
Exactly. And in a time of digestion, that should be reshaping how you are choosing these people you choose to have an encounter with.
Exactly.
It should be an ever-evolving thing. And should you not continue to evolve and you continue to choose people that are reminding you of the things that you've already come out of, then I think those are times where it's like, okay, let me look at me. What am I missing here? You know, like, okay, is there something that, you know, this person showed to me that I chose to ignore? Did I want to be the savior in this situation? Did I hope to help them realize something, but they didn't get it? So it's like, at what point do I say, okay, you know, I'm responsible for me, they're responsible for them, and then how do I move forward? But like you said, all of these things should be shaping you. And sometimes you don't know if you've healed from that or if you learned from that until you get in a situation that reminds you of that. And sometimes you don't know if you've healed from that or if you learned from that until you get in a situation that reminds you of that.
100%.
That's a word. That's a word.
So, why is it looked upon when dudes show their feelings, express their feelings, and it's not the same for females? Comment below. This is another episode of I Need to Know with Snacks.
I'm Art.
And
I'm Alisha.
We'll see you next time.